Creates new demand, income for teachers. E-learning, Nigerians in diaspora, creates new demand. Create new demand, income for teachers. More details of that story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying lack of accountability. Stifling fiscal process, FRC warns. More details of the story. FRC warns, rather. More details of the story is on page 26 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Customs intercept 16 containers of illicit drugs at Tinkan Port. Customs intercepts 16 containers of illicit drugs at Tinkan Port. You can get more details of that story on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Still from the Guardian newspaper, we have this one here. They're saying, I'm open to probe after handing over, says Obaseki. I'm open to probe after handing over, says Obaseki. That story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Atiku Damagum, Wike absent as PDP leaders seek solutions to party's crisis. Atiku Damagum, Wike absent as PDP leaders seek solutions to party's crisis. You can get more details of that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Tinubu applauds media for 25 years of democracy, nation building. Tinubu applauds media for 25 years of democracy, nation building. More details of that story is on page 26 of the Guardian this morning. And still from the Guardian, we have this one saying Lasso's research on rape reveals alarming rates of child sexual abuse. Others. Lasso's research on rape reveals alarming rates of child sexual abuse. Others. More details of that story is on page 27 of the Guardian this morning. Africa accounts for 65% of global HIV burden. Africa accounts for 65% of global HIV burden. More details of the stories on page 7 of the Guardian this morning. Federal government's 28 gencos at loggerheads over 2.5 trillion naira debt amid worsening Greek collapse. Federal government 28 gencos at loggerheads over 2.5 trillion naira debts amid worsening Greek collapse. More details of that story is on page 6 of the Guardian this morning. Military confirms new terrorist group in Northwest. Military confirms new terrorist group in Northwest. More details of that story is on page 25 of the Guardian newspaper. And that's all we have from the Guardian this morning. Very quickly, let's see the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. With this one as a banner headline saying National Grid collapses second time in 3 days. National Grid collapses second time in 3 days. The story has some writers here. Say TCN blames frequency spike or for blackouts. TCN blames frequency spike for blackouts. Adelabu orders immediate implementation of committee's reports. More details of that story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Still from the Nigerian Tribune, we have this one saying Nigeria, 8 other countries to ban corporal punishment. Nigeria, 8 other countries to ban corporal punishment. Join other 100 nations to end childhood violence. You can get more details of that story on page 25 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And we have this one saying federal government unveils free cesarean section initiative to combat high maternal mortality. Federal government unveils free cesarean section initiative to combat high maternal mortality. More details of that story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Defense headquarters confirms emergence of new terrorist group in Sokoto, Kebbi. Defense headquarters confirms emergence of new terrorist group in Sokoto, Kebbi. Declares 9 members wanted. More full details of that story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. We have this one saying IBEDC disconnects UCH again. IBEDC disconnects UCH again. You want to know why? The story has some writers here. Says patients resort to torchlights to assess wards at night. Hospitals shift 2 generators, inverters for critical areas. More details of that story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Oyo NLC hails Makinde for approving 80,000 naira minimum wage. Oyo NLC hails Makinde for approving 80,000 naira minimum wage. More details of that story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Gunmen Q3 destroy over 100 hectares of farm in Plateau. Gunmen Q3 destroy over 100 hectares of farm in Plateau. More details of the stories on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune this lovely Friday morning. Still from the Nigerian Tribune. Okay, that's all we are from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Let's see what we are from the front page of the Vanguard. Very quickly, this one here on the front page of the Vanguard as the banner headline is saying media owners, editors, others ask Tinubu to save industry. Media owners, editors, others ask Tinubu to save industry. A lot of writers here says federal government should appreciate, support the media to thrive. That's coming from Amuka. Reforms should have a human face. Obiagbena is speaking there. And then biggest threat to media's availability of resource materials. That's coming from NGA president. Biggest threat to media's availability of resource materials. NGA president Anamba. Tinubu tax media managers on faction reportage. Integrity. Tinubu tax media managers on factual reportage and integrity. Nasima Boss gives her tips to enhance media sustainability in Nigeria. Protect your integrity. Governor Diri urges media practitioners, and that's all. The story is on page 22 of the pages 22 and page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. If you're interested, you can get a copy of the Vanguard newspaper and get the full details of that story on the inside pages. I'm not afraid of EFCC. Will hand myself over if we're speaking that as the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. You can get more details of that story on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Invasion, DSS officials who invaded our office used fake names, Seraptel Scott. Invasion, DSS officials who invaded our office used fake names, Seraptel Scott. More details of the stories on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. 2025 hunger crisis will eat 133.1 million Nigerians. Reports there. 2025 hunger crisis will eat 133.1 million Nigerians. That's a report there. You can get more details of that report on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Dangote Pinnacle Oil signed deal for product distribution. Dangote Pinnacle Oil signed deal for product distribution. More details of that story is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Blackouts, why national grid collapse is unending. That's coming from experts there. NAS 6 end to grid collapses. Backs power sector reforms. You can get more details of that story on page 26, and page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Defense headquarters declare 9 terrorist leaders wanted. Defense headquarters declares 9 terrorist leaders wanted. More details of that story is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. 2027 polls. Let's fix PDP to save Nigeria. Saraki Makinde speaking there. 2027 polls. Let's fix PDP to save Nigeria. That's coming from Saraki Makinde. You can get more details of that story on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Outing to federal government. Increase tariff on telecom services or risk industry collapse. More details of that story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Ex-Golden Eaglet star declares World Cup medal missing. If you're interested in that story, get a copy of the Vanguard newspaper and flip over to page 30 this morning. That's all we have from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And lastly, let's see the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning with this one talking about the grid collapse too. The Punch report this morning as banner headline saying Syria grid collapses. Federal government orders overall as TCN fears more breakdowns. Syria grid collapses. Federal government orders overall as TCN fears more breakdowns. The riders here says federal government plans 20-hour daily power by 2027. Orders equipment revamp. 3 laments by Elsa in 3 months blackouts. You can get more details of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Still from the Punch newspaper, 32 states owe contractors, retirees, 933 billion naira. 32 states owe contractors, retirees, 933 billion naira. You can get more details of that story. If you want to know who is speaking, you want to know what that report is all about, get it on page 27 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Battle oil mafia, NNPCL should make refineries work. Obagbena speaking there. Battle oil mafia, NNPC should make refineries work. Obagbena speaking. Get full details of that story on page 14 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Nigeria undergoing major resets after subsidy removal. That's coming from Charles Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, speaking there, saying Nigeria undergoing major resets after subsidy removal. Can get more details of that story on page 36 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Sensitive materials to arrive Tuesday as police deploy 22,000 officers. Sensitive materials to arrive Tuesday as police deploy 22,000 officers. More details of that story is on page 10. That's in line with the Edo governorship poll that is coming up next week. Full details of that story is on page 10. Still on the Edo poll, 101 accredited group, 3,554 observers for election. That's coming from INEC. Full details of that also is on page 10 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And still from the Punch newspaper, we have this one saying Lagbaja, Defense Minister, CDS, Service Chiefs visit widow. Lagbaja, Defense Minister, CDS, Service Chiefs visit widow. More details of that story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. 2027, Makinde Saraki won PDP big weeks against division. 2027, Makinde Saraki won PDP big weeks against division. More details of the stories on page 14 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Customs intercept 16 containers of illicit drugs. Customs intercept 16 containers of illicit drugs. Full details of the stories on page 28 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Lagos invites bids for power plants. Lagos invites bids for power plants. You can get full details of that story on page 6 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Punch and also from the headlines this morning. Very quickly, we need to pay some bills. And when we come back, analysts is in the studio already, and then we will go straight into the analysis of some of the stories that we have. Like I said earlier, you also get to be a part of the program this morning. Join the conversation by calling the studio lines when we call them. When we open the studio lines for you to participate, you can also go to Facebook this morning and drop your comment at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Facebook at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. An interesting one this morning. You can also drop your comment on WhatsApp. I'll read out the WhatsApp lines very soon. So you drop your comment on WhatsApp also this morning. Without much ado, let's go pay some bills. And when we're back, we review some of these headlines and go straight into analyzing them. Do not go anywhere. This is the News Lens on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short time out.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Cholera is a deadly disease that spreads through contaminated water and poor hygiene. Say no to germs with Hypo. Disinfect your home and drainages with Hypo bleach. Wash hands frequently. Stop open defecation. Wash your toilets with Hypo toilet cleaner. Together, we can prevent the spread of cholera.
Number portability. Yes, you can move your line from one network service provider to another without losing your number. When your network service provider is charging too much, or the quality of service from your network provider is not good, or has no service in your home or office area, the choice is yours as you can move to another operator. But before you move, ensure that you utilize all your credits. Good news is that as you move to a new operator, you will retain same number in your choice new network. Number portability is a service introduced by the Nigerian Communications Commission to offer more choices to the Nigerian telecom consumer. NCC, connecting Nigeria.
Hello?
Hello there. I'm at the hospital right now because the kills are seriously ill. I've been on a long queue and the doctor is here to attend to me. I don't know what to do again.
You know what? How about the numbers I gave you while leaving?
Oh, the e-Dokita numbers?
Yes.
Call them right away. They will attend to you immediately.
Hello?
Darling, just like magic. Junior is playing. Even Princess is eating like an adult.
You know I've told you to calm down. Our family is covered with e-Dokita Premium Plan. With eDokita, you have access to healthcare at your fingertips. Stop wasting your productive hours while waiting in the clinic for doctor. Subscribe today to any of eDokita plans and enjoy online chat and call consult, laser therapy, medical outreach, and home care services. Simply dial 0704 714 2000 or 0701 000 8670. Log on to www.edokita.com or visit us at eDokita, number 2 Ocean Street, New Bodija, Ibadan. eDokita, inspiring wellness.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Alright, you welcome back. It's the Newslands right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Just before we went on that break, we told you we'll be reviewing some of these headlines and analyzing them together this morning. And let me quickly inform you also that you also get to be a part of the program this morning by watching us live on Facebook. I'll drop in your comment there right there on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM is the handle on Facebook this morning. omoluwabi 87.7 FM. That's the handle on Facebook. So go drop your comment there. Watch us live as regards some of the things we're discussing on the show this morning. You also get to be a part of the program via the phone lines. You can call us when the time comes. We open the phone lines for you to join the conversation this morning. And then you can also drop your comment via WhatsApp this morning. One of the studio lines is still the same number through which you can share your thoughts on WhatsApp. All right, so without more to do, let's move straight to the business. This morning I have with me in the studio Professor Wale Akinyemi. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, Tayo. Good morning to our listeners. Happy weekend to you all.
All right, happy weekend to everyone this morning. It's been a recurring issue for the past few months, especially for the past 2 months. Talking about the national grid collapse, and then the president has ordered the revamp of that of the power sector. National grid collapses second time in 3 days. TCN blames frequency spike for blackouts. Adilabu orders immediate implementation of committee's reports. That's according to the Nigerian Tribune this morning. The story is on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And then still on that same issue, talking about the national grid collapse, the Punch puts it the same morning saying Syria grid collapses, federal government orders overall as TCN fears more breakdown. Federal government plans 20-hour daily power supply by 2027, orders equipment revamp. And then we have this one saying Diri laments Bayelsa 3 months blackout. Full details of that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Professor Wale Akinyemi, we can't just stop talking about this issue because it's been a recurring issue with us in the country, and then many have been asking what's the problem. And then part of the problem that many feel we have is the state of the equipment, the power generating equipment, and then as I speak now, the federal government has ordered the overhaul of TCN, and then let's see how we revamp our equipment that are supplying power at this time. And many are asking the question, we spend a lot of money. Should we be having issues with these equipment? Because every year in, year out, we budget huge billions of dollars on power. But then our equipment are obsolete. Professor Wale Akinyemi, what's your take on this?
The problems we have in the power sector is the problem we have in all the sectors of the economy. Human problem. You see, if you don't take care of the grid in the system, we always have collapse of the grid. Because it is people who are saboteurs, people who don't have the nation's interest, people that are patriotic, people who even want to sabotage the government. They are the people that are behind all of this. If you talk about obsolete equipment, who are the people that bought this equipment? It's not as if power sector is one of the sectors that they vote among us budget for year in, year out. And it's unfortunate that the kind of money that you are spending on that sector is not being translated into efficiency in the system. And power is very, very critical to whatever you want to do in Nigeria. It's critical to the development of our economy. It's critical to industrialization. It's critical to the development of SMEs. It's critical to even the quality life, for people to lead quality life. I mean, you can imagine a teaching hospital like the UCH, for example, being in darkness. They're using torchlights to treat patients. Is it not embarrassing? Is it not sad? So whatever if the Mr. President is calling for an overhaul of the sector, I think it is more than necessary. And in overhauling the sector, I think they should beam searchlight on the people that are sabotaging, the system. You see, what part of the problem you have in this country is that when you don't punish people for crime, there is the tendency for people to continue or to want to do that crime. All the people that are doing all of these things that have brought this country to its knees, they can be identified. And I think it's about time that government should make a scapegoat of some people to send very, very strong warning to the people that business cannot continue as usual.
Interesting one there. Let's get a new twist to that story because we've always been saying we should allow states and some other organizations or communities that can afford to have power plants to generate their own electricity by themselves. That's the president's one of the major things the president did attending office is to give that autonomy to states to be able to generate their power on their own. Now, Lagos is inviting bids for power plants construction. Professor Wale Akinyemi, and we've seen other states too trying to do something in that line too. What's your take on this?
It is the way to go. You should decentralize power generation and distribution in Nigeria. All the states government, especially the states that are heavily industrialized, they should invest in independent power stations. It is the only way in which they can guarantee stability of power and growth of the economy. So if you ask me, almost all the southern states in the southeast, in the southwest, they need independent power station. Is it Anambra? With the kind of activity that is going on in Newi axis, that does not need a power station. Is it Aba, a commercial city that does not need power station? Is it Ibadan, that does not need one? Is it Lagos? Is it a Delta State? Is it River State that does not need a power station? You see, and the more they invest in all of this, the more pressure will be reduced on the national grid, and the national grid itself will become more efficient. And because there is competition, there will be efficiency in the system. So I think it's just the way to go. And beyond even state government investing in national independent power stations, I think some reputable institutions, research institutes, institutions like the UCH.
I was coming to that too because it's another sad story. IBEDC having to go to UCH to disconnect their power source, and then many are asking the question: as big as UCH is, at some point the students of University of Ibadan came out to the street of Ibadan protesting the issue of electricity outrage. They are saying they don't want rationalization, blah blah blah, as regards the issue of power. And many are asking research institutes, universities, big organizations such as UCH should be able to generate their own power on their own. We've seen some religious organizations doing that. And why is it that it is government-owned institutions that can do all of these things?
It is the way to go. I'm happy you mentioned some religious organizations. I just don't want to mention names now. There are some of them that they have been having 24/7 power stability. And if they can do that as a private organization, I wonder why research institutes and tertiary institutions and institutions of excellence like UCH, for example, should not be able to generate their own power. It's very, very embarrassing when they come to and disconnect a major hospital like the UCH. That means that we are toying with the life of people.
Because just so sad when people have to be walking around UCH with torchlights in their hands. A institution big as UCH, where the whole world, the eyes are on UCH, so to speak. And then getting there, you realize that it's blackout. Don't you think there's something wrong, Professor Wale Akinyemi? Because you can't just one can easily wrap their heads around all of these situations. Because one will expect an organization big as UCH should not be having such issues.
You see, it's this back to this same human problem we are talking about. For people who have patients in UCH, families that are admitted on admission UCH and everything, if you have even visited UCH yourself, you will see that hospital is making money. Make no mistake about it. So the question is, why are they not paying their electricity bill? Who are the people that are responsible for the maintenance of even the backup? I believe they will have a very powerful generator as backup. Why is it that these ones are not functioning?
This is expensive.
No, so you say it's a very expensive hospital. You go there, you pay dearly for virtually everything. So I don't know why that kind of hospital is not self-sustaining. The absolute truth of the matter is that it's not the problem. The fault cannot be saddled on the government alone. Even the management of UCH themselves, they have every reason to explain to government what they are doing with all the money that they are making from UCH, in addition to this subvention that government is making available to them.
Interesting one. Then let's move away from the usual power this morning. Let's talk about security. It's been in the news. There's a rumor of something flying around as regards the issue of a new terrorist group springing up in the north. And then yesterday, the defense headquarters came out and said, yes, it is true. They confirmed it. This one here says defense headquarters confirms the emergence of new terrorist group in Sokoto, Kebbi, declares 9 members wanted. That's according to the Nigerian Tribune. Full details of the story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. The Guardian puts it this way, saying military confirms new terrorist group in Northwest. And that story is on page 25 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. You can also find the same story right here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper and also the Punch newspaper, talking about the confirmation of a new terrorist group in the northern part of the country. Professor Wale Akiyemi are still dealing with the usual bandits, dealing with the usual Boko Haram. But then another terrorist group is springing up already. Can we cope with all of this?
We certainly cannot. There is no serious-minded nation that is a futuristic nation that should have the kind of impunity that is happening in Nigeria. Let me tell you, you are having all of these terrorist groups because they know that it is something that is viable, is something that it pays. Because they know how much the people that are floating Boko Haram, how much they have made from government. They know how much the bandits have made from government and from other sources. And that is why another one, I think they call them Lukuma, whatever, I can't remember the name now, that they have that springing up. You see, the sad thing about it is that all of these terrorist organizations are associating themselves with religion. And that is why it is very, very sad. Because there is no religion in the world.
So basically what we are saying now is insecurity has now become a business.
Of course it is a business, a very lucrative business at that. So all the you know why it is very, very sad is that the people in government that are supposed to call some of these people to order, and I'm not indicting the entire government, but there are certain politicians that are also fueling this. That is why we have kept it. I've always said it that if we are ready to deal with issue of banditries, Boko Haram, cattle herder, and all of those things at the macro level, we will have dealt with it, because these people they live within us, they live with us. We worship in the same mosque. We attend their daughter's wedding. They wed. They do all sorts of social activities in the communities. Their traditional rulers know them. It's not as if they are invaders. No, they live within the people. And if the people are giving these people kind of support, whether subtle or otherwise, then it is going to be very, very difficult for the federal government to fight. Because when you continue to deploy the military or the police to all of these people, and they are enjoying some measure of a local support from the people around them, then it's unfortunate, because they will be compromising intelligence. Before they come, the local people there will have told them, these people are coming, and these are the same set of people that they want to go and rescue. And I was listening to somebody being interviewed, somebody who went to one of the military people that participated in the operation of to rescue those guests that were captured. They said the guests themselves do not want to be rescued. So you can imagine the kind of situation that the security operatives are facing. When they had to shoot some of those terrorists, those guys, they said some of them were saying that they killed their husbands. So you see the kind of situation we are talking about. So it's a very, very delicate situation. When you want to fight some people, or you think you are fighting for on behalf of some people, and the people you are fighting for, they don't want to be rescued. They want to remain in that level of savagery. It's a very, very unfortunate situation. But that is the truth must be told. So I believe that if the North is ready to fight terrorism, they will fight it. That is by giving 100% cooperation to the federal government to bring this thing to its to remove it completely from our landscape.
Interesting one there. Do not forget, we are streaming live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM is the handle on Facebook this morning. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Do not also forget that you can drop your comment on WhatsApp too. On WhatsApp, you can drop your comment on 07047 007999. 07047 007999. That's the number that's our WhatsApp number where you can drop your comments this morning. I'll take it out again. 07047 007999. 07047 007999. That's the number to drop your comments on for WhatsApp this morning. We want to read your comments, and also you can drop your comment on Facebook too. Very soon we'll open the phone lines for you to join the conversation too. But then before we do that, let's check some other stories this morning. The PDP had a meeting yesterday, and they are saying we need to bring PDP back in order to save Nigeria. That's according to the former Senate President Bukola Saraki and the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde. He's saying 2027, Makinde Saraki won PDP big weeks against division. And that's according to the Punch newspaper this morning. And then if you check some other newspaper too, they report there's something in the same manner, saying we need to bring the PDP together just to make sure that we save Nigeria from APC, so to speak, or probably from one party. Professor Wale Akinyemi, and yesterday, some of the big wigs in PDP were absent at that meeting. The likes of the former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar wasn't present. The chairman, the embattled chairman Damagun, was not present, and then the Minister of the FCT too wasn't present at the event yesterday. And many are asking the question: these are the big wigs. These are the people. These are so to speak. These are the people that are calling the shots in PDP as we speak for now, because they are the ones you always hear in the news whenever there's crisis. So either a Wiki faction, Damagum faction, or Atiku faction. But then yesterday, these guys were not present at the meeting. But Saraki and Makinde is saying we need to come together. We need to look away from all of our differences and make sure that we save Nigeria. What's your take on this?
If you check the number of people that are prominent members of APC today that moved from the PDP, you will be shocked. So did we just tell you that our politicians, they are, what the kind of politics they do is strictly transactional. Whoever that they think that is in power, they gravitate towards that. And because of these tendencies, that is one of the reasons why you find out that opposition is in tatters, whether you look at it from the point of view of a PDP or Labour. Because all the people, they are fraternizing with the government in power. If today, all of these names that you are mentioning, they give them some very, very big position in government, before you know it, they will throw in the towel and they cross, they will cross carpet, as it were. In fact, they have overwon that carpet by cross the way the rate at which they cross carpet it from one hand to the other, and that is just and it's like that because our political parties, they are not based on ideology. No, it's not ideological. You cannot say what we have in Nigeria is like the Democratic Party and the Republican. I mean, you have clear-cut ideology about those two parties. Whereas our PDP and APC is supposed to be fashioned after that. The ways most prominent politicians talk, they talk as if Nigeria is a two-party state. We are not. But in reality, you find out that the options Nigeria have is that they don't have APC, they have PDP. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any psychological difference between these two people, because the same set of people, the same attitude, the same nonchalant attitude, the same self-serving attitude is what is obtainable in the two parties. So I would expect that what Governor Seyi Makinde and Dr. Saraki should be doing is to galvanize entire Nigerians beyond across party divide, if they really want to pose a threat to APC. Otherwise, APC will stage a comeback again in 2027. Why? Because they will have the money to fight. Secondly, they are in power. Thirdly, you are practicing politics of power, of money in this country. And Nigerians, they have weaponized poverty so much that by the time they come in 2027, they know what the politicians, they have specialized in doing it. That's when they will throw out all the goodies. And before you know it, our people, it's like we have what you can call a very short memory, in Nigeria.
And do you think that is still that the usual people having short memory? Do you think it's still prevalent in Nigeria to speak? Because it seems many Nigerians are on the street complaining and saying 2027 won't be business as usual. But then one cannot play down the role of some of these politicians. You can't underestimate what politicians can do, so to speak.
What I'm saying is that if you have to match Gari for Gari, rice for rice, money for money, PDP versus APC, we have more money to spend than PDP.
But then It's an interesting one there because many will ask the question. Beyond all of these things, we've always seen it happen. At some point, we moved. Let's check out the last Edo Guba election. A lot of things played out. Many people were saying people bought votes for as high as 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira. And we're asking the question: these things should not be. But then it seemed like you said, politicians have weaponized poverty. People would want to collect the money and say it's part of our national cake. And then national cake, eventually the party you don't like comes into power, and then it's another 4 years of economic hardship, so to speak. How can the people correct these mindsets?
Until the people seize political initiative in Nigeria, you will find that majority of the allies, especially the people that are exposed, that are educated, they don't perform their civic right. That is reality. Most of them during elections, they sit out in the comfort of their sitting rooms and they will be pontificating. The people that will go out there to go and vote, these are people that they can manipulate, give gari, give beans, give all of those things, and they pour them, because even though when you are collecting that money, they give them owobe, maybe they give you 5,000 naira. Is that to share obe for the next 4 years? So it's a very sad situation, but that is what has been playing out in Nigeria for maybe 20-25 years. That is the way it has been going on. You mentioned Edo election the last time. You won't believe it that it took that election for the governor of Edo State to begin to give money to the outgoing governor of Edo State, to give money to market women. I mean, and all these market women were there all the time. They knew all they needed and everything. So that is the kind of thing that we are talking about. I think it's a culture thing, because people have also studied our people. They know that our people, they won't like in confe, you know, and they say, okay, and then after that one, they will be crying, even power, but then until the next election, they won't even see the members of their representative. They don't come to their constituency. Most of them will just stay permanently in Abuja.
You know, Prof, we've always been talking about having a third force, but then it seems the third force, so to speak, is not a reality, because if you check those who make up the third force too, they are members of these same political parties. And Nigerians are asking the question, which way? How are we going to go about this in this country? Is it just going to be about the same set of people that have been ruling us? And won't we have in new faces some kind of people that will come? We've had some people trying to come out, but then, like you said, it's politics of money. They don't have the money, and then they don't have the power and influence to outweigh the other political parties. What's your take on this?
Labour Party position as a third force. We thought it would be a veritable third force, but we can now see that it is not. It's just like an amalgamation of a APC, PDP, as far as I'm concerned. And now you will know that is this. When they were giving them those luxurious jeeps, there is no senator or House of Representative member that is from Labour that raised an objection. When they were collecting all the big allowances, none of them also raised an objection. When it comes to enjoy the perquisite of office, none of our politicians across party divide raised any objection. So it means that basically they are the same thing, self-serving, including people in ABGA or whatever that name they may come up with. So that is the problem that we have in this country. People just want an opportunity to be somewhere, and then for them to have access to largesse of government. And that is why our government is so over-bloated. It's one of the most expensive governance in Nigeria, in the world, yet we don't get it does not translate to good governance.
Interesting one there. A lot of money being spent into governance in Nigeria, but then it doesn't translate to good governance. Do not forget, like I said earlier, you can go drop your comment on Facebook and see some comments on Facebook this morning. The Facebook handle is at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And we are also live on WhatsApp this morning. You can go, the WhatsApp line is active. You can go drop your comment on WhatsApp too. The WhatsApp line is 07047 007999 07047 007999. That's the WhatsApp line where you can drop your comments this morning. All right, we need to go pay some bills now. When we come back, we open the phone lines for you to call in and then read your comments this morning. Do not go anywhere. This is still Newslands right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short time out.
with the voice of integrity. 87.7 FM.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, made with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Break time is crunch time. So give your champs this delicious crunchy delight to keep them winning all day. Milo and a snacks, snack of future champions. Milo!
My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM, na dem be Sabi Radio.
We are everywhere you go. In your office, at the market, the motor park, even at the filling stations. Feel the voice of integrity. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. Then you need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Then stay in power, you find it all in peak. Then every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
The voice of integrity, Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Alright, welcome back. It's the Newslands right here on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can drop your comment on Facebook this morning at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can also call in this time 07047 007999 07047 007999. You can also drop your comments on WhatsApp via that line. You can also call 08053888933. 08053888933. Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, your name and where you calling us from?
This is Adrian from Moscow.
All right, please make your point.
Yeah, on the Sarake and Governor Makinde urging PDP to come together, urging the Jews. So nothing but the factual truth has been said by them. And according to your analysis, you have said it all. So they should come together because I could remember during PDP regime, we are not facing hardship as this. Just imagine, the minimum wage approved cannot even buy a bag of rice. But under PDP, with the 80,000 minimum wage approved now, we will be able to buy like even 10 bags of rice. So the hardship we are facing under this APC administration is too much. So we ourselves, as Governor Makinde said, that APC versus Nigeria 2027. So as he has said, we should all come out in March 2027 and vote this bad leadership out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. You too can join the conversation this morning. The studio lines are still open. All right, let's see who's here. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Tayo.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Thank you. I'm Boston from Ibadan.
All right, please make your point.
Thank you. I greet your analyst.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Sir, on this power grid that has been collapsing times without number, especially these days, it's so shameful on the part of the federal government because since they said they have privatized the sector, we are not still enjoying power supply because they are intervening more. It's more or less that they are just using the private investors to cover up, but yet they are the ones that are maneuvering the sector. So yet, I still desire that the sector should be allowed, to be privatized. Let investors dominate that sector. Let them make dams and do whatever they can in order to make sure that the power sector is functional. And then, on the other hand, since the federal government has authorized that state government should be generating power for their state, I think it's a very good idea. And coupled with the fact that Abia State has been able to do that, and we also heard that the Oyo State government is also doing it too. They are working on making sure that they generate power for Oyo State. It's a good one. So I also want to use the opportunity to urge other state governments to also please adopt such idea and do the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name?
Sulaiman Sharif calling from Nara.
All right, please make your
Happy lovely Friday. Regarding the national grid collapse second time in 3 days, it's a worrisome. Don't forget, this power sector is just like a backbone of the economy. But the best thing is that the instrument they are using, the TCN, in the car sector, everything has totally depreciated. That's why the outcome of what we have seen since all these days so far. I think the other government will fix it and buy new equipment in that regard. About what the last caller said, yes, I agree with him. If the Dawn Commission, the way they bring the idea of Amateku, and we can see that our governors invested so much on it, if they can channel that energy to Kerry Dam, it should go in a long way. If all the Southwest governors revive that project, it will be a positive result. And we, the Southwest region, we have the benefit to achieve a lot of it. But my question is it possible for a state to embark and complete that project? No. If all the collective responsibility of the Southwest governor to be meaningful in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program. All right, so you can join the conversation this morning. Studio lines are still very much active. 07047 007999. 07047007999. You can also drop your WhatsApp messages on that line too. And you can also call us on 08053888933. 08053888933. All right, you can drop your comment on Facebook too this morning. We have some comment on Facebook already. Let's see this one from Oluwabi Root saying good morning. Good morning to you too. We shouldn't be experiencing grid collapse in this current economy at all because power sector is known as the backbone of the economy, and this sector is also a key factor in determining the rates of unemployment, since investors will only come to a place where there is regular energy for effective production. But it's quite worrisome that the people in government are not taking this sector seriously, and that's the reason why the rate of unemployment keeps increasing on a daily basis. The federal government should do the needful by fixing the sector. That's coming from Oluwabi Root. All right, thank you very much for dropping your comment there. We have this one from Damilola Akinade saying good morning in the studio. It's good to know that the NLC Lords Governor Seyi Makinde on the approved 80,000 naira minimum wage payment as the governor is a friendly civil servant governor, and even pensioners we're not left out under his administration. Kudos to him. All right, sir. Okay, let's see this one from Adirunke Akorede Oladele saying good morning in the studio. It's just 3 days the power grid has collapsed again. We all know power is the backbone of the economy and any nation and the power sector is in our country is nothing to write home about. The Minister of Power should be sacked because it shows clearly the man lack knowledge of the sector, and even the APC-led federal government is taking it with levity hands, which is not supposed to be. May God see us through on this incessant power grid collapse. Okay, thank you very much, Adirunke Akorede. That's your own opinion there. Professor Wale Akiyemi, is it about the power minister this time, or about a lot of things going on in that sector? Do you think even if we bring a professor of electrical engineering or anything that has to do with power at this time, do you think that such person will have done better at this time, considering all of the challenges and all the situations surrounding this issue?
I've told you before that it's a systemic problem. There's very little any power minister can do if the people that are working with him are not ready to cooperate with him, if they are sabotaging the system. Don't forget that this is a very problematic sector. It's been like that for a very, very long time. No, as efficient as late Chibola Ige was, when he was deployed to that ministry, we knew what happened with there. He wanted to use his track record of efficiency and everything to deliver. But the people that are working on that, you frustrated that effort. I believe it's the same problem that our dear Benkele Mess is coping with in that sector. Give it to the minister. He made it at made that sector at a very, very deplorable stage. And over the time that he has been there, he has demonstrated capacity to improve. So what I'm saying therefore is that the people that are working with him, whether in transmission or generation, they should cooperate with the minister to make sure that we solve this problem. It's a national problem. And the success of the minister, the success of Nigeria.
Interesting one there. That's all we'll be able to take on the show this morning. Professor Wole Akinyemi, your parting shot on the program this morning.
Same thing. Nigeria belongs to us. Let's do our own bit. If we do our own bit, all these national problems that are talking about, they will fade away with time.
Interesting one there. It's a collective effort, like we always say. Let's all play our role to make sure that we get Nigeria back to its feet at this time. All right, on that note, it's my time to say goodbye on the radio, on the show this morning, so that I can give way for Jonathan Ibileke to come tell us something's going on in the world of sports this morning on the program Sport Raves. Do not forget that exactly 8:30, Kakakiro will also be coming on board on this dial. It is 7.7 FM, the voice of integrity. So do not leave your radio sets. Do not move away from your radio sets. Just take it to your radio set this morning, because it promises to be an interesting time on radio today, the 8th day in the month of November 2024. Monday is another time on Newslands. Join me again 7 a.m. on Monday on the program Newslands. Don't forget to join Stephen Adedigba tomorrow by 9 a.m. on the program The Discourse. My name is Oluwatayo Ajiwale, urging you to please enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.